CBS Television Sports presents the National Football Conference Championship Game. Today, the Minnesota Vikings meet the Dallas Cowboys. Sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. The closer you look, the better we look. And by Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire. And by the American Bankers Association, your bank helping you change things for the better. And by Amoco Oil, who urges you to conserve this country's energy.
The Minnesota Vikings have already been introduced, and the Dallas Cowboys are about to come on the field. You knew the story, and we welcome you to Irving, Texas, and Texas Stadium, the NFC Championship Game. I'm Jack Buck, and to my right is Pat Summerall. Pat has some comments about these Cowboys, the champions of the NFC East.
8 consecutive years the Cowboys have been in the playoffs, and nobody else has ever done that before. The Cowboys coached by Tom Landry with a record of 10-4 in the regular season. This was last week against Los Angeles, and at this point the Rams were closing. Roger Staubach throwing down the middle as the Cowboy lead at this time was 1 point, 17-16. This is the spectacular rookie number 88, Drew Pearson. And this was the game breaker as Staubach put it out of reach from Los Angeles with this completion. That's as close to a victory dance as you'll ever see by Pearson as he got it in the end zone. The Cowboys went on to win 27-16. The Minnesota Vikings, led by Fran Tarkenton, and with some comments, our colleague Wayne Walker.
Well, Pat, believe it or not, after 13 years in the National Football League, last Saturday, Fran Tarkenton played in his first playoff game, and what a game he responded with. 16 out of 28 for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he's a reformed scrambler, but he can still move around back there as he did here on this first and goal situation that put the clinching touchdown on the board for the Vikings. 20-13 the score. He finds John Gilliam in the corner, and that was the final score for the Vikings. And I'll tell you, Dallas will have to pay some attention to John Gilliam this afternoon.
The remainder of the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll be ready for the start of today's game in just a moment.
In the vast world of ever-ready power sources, one stands out as the best and the longest lasting. The ever-ready alkaline power cell. A long-life power cell that outworks, outlasts, outlives any ordinary battery in heavy-duty use. The ever-ready alkaline power cell. The longest-lasting power source from Ever-Ready. Our best.
The first time I saw this courthouse, I was 5 years old. That was Waxahachie, Texas, 1917. I'm Byron Nelson. Waxahachie has really changed a lot since then. One of the reasons for all the changes here is the banks. Like 10 years ago, cotton was dying as a crop. So the banks put up a lot of money to help finance new methods for cotton farmers like Donald Patman. Today, cotton is twice as big as it used to be. And 3 years ago, Carroll Davis was a carpenter who wanted to build some low-cost homes. So he went to his bank and got a loan. Today, these are Carroll's homes.
And I have more plans, Byron.
Good. Point is that banks all over this country are working to help build homes and communities. Or to help make retirement possible for an old golfer.
Your bank, helping you change things for the better.
It's tough to put a Muriel down. It's tough to put a Muriel down. With so much flavor going for you, it's tough to put a Muriel down. It's tough to put a Muriel down. You're gonna want to take it with you all around. You get so much for so little. It's tough to put a Muriel down.
The stage is set for the NFC Championship game. One more item, our national anthem, and a fine trumpeter. Mr. Tommy Loy accompanies the color guard to the playing field, which is a tartan turf field. It's a sellout crowd here of more than 65,000, and this will be Tommy Loy featured with our national anthem.
As we prepare for a new year, let us remember that we honor the Stars and Stripes as the emblem of our country. The flag is our symbol of national unity, national endeavor, and our national aspiration. Long may it wave. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to join with us in the singing as we present Mr. Tommy Loy and our national anthem.
Here at Texas Stadium today, the season will come to an end for one of these teams, the Vikings or the Cowboys. And the winner, as you know, goes on to the Super Bowl. That date is the 13th of January. That telecast will be on CBS. Pat, I know the biggest item about Dallas you haven't referred to yet, having to do with Calvin Hill.
Calvin Hill suffered a dislocated elbow last week against Los Angeles. He will not play. This, of course, is Roger Staubach, the NFC's leading passer last year with over 62% of his passes completed. Calvin Hill will not play. His place will be taken in the lineup by Robert Newhouse. Newhouse is 5'10" and 210 pounds. Not as quite a big a pass receiving threat as Calvin Hill, but nevertheless a fine runner.
Fred Cox will kick off. 3 deep men for the Cowboys, and in the middle is Cliff Harris. He's number 43, and he's averaged about 25 yards per kickoff return. Here we go, and we hope you enjoy it. Mr. Harris takes it on the 1, 10, 15, 20, 21, and the Cowboys will go from there with Terry Brown downfield to make the tackle, number 24, and frequently he is downfield doing that work for Minnesota.
Both of these teams do an excellent job on special unit performance. In fact, Tom Landry says that's the big difference in this Dallas team over past years. They're better on special teams.
The Dallas Cowboys moving from the 21 with Staubach number 12 at the quarterback spot. Walt Garrison is the fullback, number 32. Therefore, he'll be the up man in the I formation, and Robert Newhouse is the tailback. Wide receiver to the right, slot formation. Dupree, the tight end. Newhouse got a couple. Jim Marshall met him head on, and then he got help from Wally Hilgenberg, the outside linebacker. And linebacking, as it always is, Wayne Walker, is going to be very important in this game because I know they don't want Newhouse to get outside.
Robert Newhouse is very hard to bring down, and linebackers will find out, and defensive linemen will find out that he's one young man that's not going to come down with an arm tackle.
You might make that first hit, but you might need some help also. The ball was carried out to the 24, and it's 2nd down and 7. They shift into the eye. And the pitch to Newhouse. This is what we're talking about, trying to get outside. He's short of a first down. Will be a third down play. And Jeff Seaman, the very mobile middle linebacker, number 50, got over there and made the hit.
The Cowboys believe that the way to beat Minnesota is to run against them, and that's what they're going to start out early trying to do. A Newhouse with good pursuit. You saw number 50, Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, finally take him down.
Third down and 4. Newhouse goes out, and Mike Montgomery comes in. He had been injured, but he's playing today, number 23.
He is, we might add, Jack, a fine pass receiver, which, as I pointed out before, Newhouse is not necessarily a good pass receiving target.
Hayes to the left, Pearson to the right. Montgomery and Garrison. Staubach's first pass, third and 4. He's going to run for a first down. Seaman covered him after Staubach hit the deck. That's the first down of the day. Both quarterbacks can do that, Wayne.
You bet. And there's nothing more demoralizing to a defense to drop back and play your coverage correctly, have everyone covered, and have the quarterback run out there and make a first down on you.
But you still have to go after that passer, Pat. I thought that Washington failed to do that last week. Made it quite a difference.
You can't concern yourself too much about that. You've still got to put some heat on the passer. If he scrambles, you're just going to have to take your chances with that.
First down at the Cowboy 35. Hayes is split to the right. And now they are in a true I formation. And now in motion Pearson. Newhouse, nothing doing. Jim Marshall, the defensive end. And the 14-year veteran from Ohio State teamed up with Alan Page for that stop, and that was the best hit of the day to this point.
Let's look at it again. Pearson coming in motion here. Number 70, of course, is Jim Marshall, closing the line against Newhouse, and Wally Hilgenberg making the hit around the neck.
John Fitzgerald is the center for Dallas with Blaine Nye and John Nyland. There's Eller in on that last play. You saw him stick his nose in there. Second down and 10. Neely and Rayfield Wright are the tackles. Hayes is this way to the left. Staubach on second and 10. Incomplete. He tried to save it to Garrison, and the linebacker Roy Winston was covering, number 60. Well, what do you think of the tempo of this one thus far, Wayne? Anything untoward?
Oh, no, I was really watching Gary Larson that time. I thought that perhaps the Vikings might play Larson as a hit and control man on passing situation because of Staubach's success last week running up the middle, but they turned him loose. They were going after him that down.
It's third and 10. We have 11:43 remaining in the first quarter. There's no score. This is the first possession. Bob Hayes goes to the right, Drew Pearson to the left, and Mike Montgomery is in there again. Third and 10. Sideline overthrown, incomplete, and Dallas will have to punt. Pat, already we've seen one thing. With Newhouse playing in a passing situation, Montgomery has to come in, whereas Hill, their leading pass receiver for the year, just stayed in there and did both.
Of course, Calvin, as we pointed out, is an excellent target, 6'4" and about 230 pounds, but we will not see him this afternoon because of that dislocated elbow.
The punter, and doing a great job lately, is Marv Bateman. He's averaged more than 41 yards a kick. He's standing at the 20, and Bobby Bryant is inside his 25. Big rush, but they didn't get to it, and Bryant calls for a fair catch. I thought he had a chance to return it, but the Vikings, getting the ball for the first time, go from their 26. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. So now we'll get a look at Fran Tarkenton. Well, he's not a loser anymore, Pat. He took his team to the championship, and he's got them of their division. Won one playoff game, and we're looking at a winner now.
That's something that's been stuck in his throat for a long time, that rap.
Reed and Foreman are the setbacks. Gilliam is to the right. Caldale to the left. Oscar Reed carried to the 30. Picked up 4, second down and 6. And Bill Gregory, who's playing in place of Bob Lilly, was the tackler. It's a shame that Lilly is out, Wayne. That adds another dimension to this game.
I'll tell you what, in a way, you hate to see anybody injured, but it's been a blessing for the Cowboys because they've really come up with some good young people to fill in for injuries this year, and it's really helped them down the stretch.
Cowboys, by the way, have 10 first-year men on their roster. Second down and 6. Gilliam to the right, Carroll Dale to the left. The tight end is Stu Boyd on the right side. Now Foreman. Got a couple. Dave Edwards, the linebacker, number 52. Leroy Jordan, the middle linebacker, number 55. And the Vikings are confronted with a third down play. Neither team wide open at this point, Pat.
They've both been very cautious, which you would expect in a game like this, sort of feeling each other out. The Vikings very much like Los Angeles on offense. They like to run the ball. Of course, they can't throw it as the Rams could with John Hadle. And with Tarkenton on third down, he's a threat to do the same thing that Staubach did a minute ago and scramble.
Third down and about 3 yards to go. Foreman is in motion. Tarkenton throws, and that's a first down. Chuck Foreman caught the ball. There's a rookie who can do it all. From Miami, Florida. What a year he's had. 800 yards. Did well in the playoff game last week. Cornell Green was covering, made the hit, but Minnesota gets a first down. There was some significance to that call. It was third down, 2.5, and Tarkenton elected to throw it. Gilliam left, Carroll Dale right. The ball at the Minnesota 39. First down pass. Gilliam got it. They mark his forward progress short of a first down by about a half a yard. Mel Renfro made the hit. The next time Dallas lines up, instead of setting the offense for you, we're going to have Wayne Walker talk to you about that flex defense that the Cowboys use. It's something that they have featured and made work for them in very good fashion this year. It's second down and 1. And the ball is at the 48. Who's going to be off the line there, Wayne, on defense?
It'll depend on the Viking formation, who they flex. The defensive end is back on a weak side. The tackle's back on the strong side.
Jethro Pugh was playing about a yard off the line. Here's a big call, and the long one to the sideline, overthrown to Carroll Dale. Tarkenton threw it away when he saw Cornell Green step for step with Carroll Dale as Gilliam tried to clear him out deep.
I would imagine that Dallas will play Minnesota and John Gilliam just about the same way they played John Hadle and Harold Jackson last week, and that is have double coverage on Gilliam wherever he goes. You look at the man who made those decisions, Tom Landry. It'll be Charlie Waters and Cliff Harris on one side. On the other side, if it happens to be Gilliam out by himself, then Mel Renfro will get the help from Cliff Harris.
They take out a wide receiver, Minnesota does, and they put Goodrum in there to help with the blocking on 3rd and 1. Oscar Reed's got the first down across midfield, and Minnesota keeps the football with 9:10 remaining in the first quarter. Leroy Jordan and Bill Gregory met that play.
And watch the offensive charge by that Minnesota line, which is an excellent one. That's what got their first down for them here. That and the fine running of Oscar Reed.
The Minnesota front line is Tingelhoff at center, Sunday and White at the guards, Alderman and Yari at the tackles. The ball at the Dallas 49, Carroll Dale to the right, Voigt splits left, Gilliam splits left. First down pass again. The bomb for Gilliam. Renfro covered it. I think he got a hand on it, but he was right at the sideline. And Tarkenton, I guess Gilliam just couldn't get down there quickly enough. He might have been bumped, Pat, because the timing wasn't there on that play.
I'd imagine that somebody, if they got close enough to him, would try to knock him off stride. This is a note from the Cowboys. This is the first time in his pro career, regular season or postseason, that Bob Lilly has not started. But here's that last play with Gilliam being covered by Renfro. Nobody touched him.
I think Francis wanted to go on the straight up there, and then Renfro was in such good shape that he threw it towards the sideline, just hope that Gilliam could adjust to that ball.
We said a while ago that both teams were rather conservative, but not now. Tarkenton throwing the ball on first down.
That's a good down to throw against any defense.
Jim Lash is in as a wide receiver. It's second down and 10. And he might as well keep throwing it, right? Jim Lash to the sideline. Yes, it's a first down. It's a first down for Minnesota. The hit was made by Renfro, and he carried Lash out of bounds. First-year man from Northwestern.
Well, now he doesn't get his feet down in bounds, as you'll see in just a second, but he's knocked out by Renfro. And as long as the defender takes him out like this, It's ruled to be a legal catch. He did not get his feet down.
He got the one tootsie down, but not the other. And it's a first down at the Dallas 38. Minnesota with a good drive here. Gilliam to the right. Or Lash to the right and Gilliam to the left. Foreman. Boy, what a block he got from Oscar Reed. And he got 9 yards on that play.
It's a play that, when it started, didn't look like it was going to get much. But watch the block by number 32 first on Cornell Green. And Foreman knew how to take advantage of it.
Second down and 1. Cornell Green came up to force the play from his safety spot, and Reed picked him off, and it's second down and 1. So you would guess at this point Minnesota is going to be the first to get down the scoreboard one way or another. 7:50 remaining in the first quarter. Gilliam flanks further right. First down with Oscar Reed. Bill Gregory wrapped him up. He's the one who's playing in place of Bob Lilly, and they're very pleased with the work of Gregory.
Well, he's played the last 5 games and played very well. One thing I've noticed, Wayne, that the Vikings already are doing is they are staying away from that double coverage with Waters and Harris. They're going to the single coverage, even if they are throwing at an all-pro cornerback in Mel Renfro.
Well, that's the way the Cowboys think. They have so much respect for Mel Renfro's ability. They figure that they can put him out there one-on-one against anybody and give help to the other side.
What a good drive by Minnesota. The ball is at the 26. First down. Oscar Reed. Good move. He's down to the 21. He picked up 5 yards. Pat Toomey, 67. Bill Gregory, 77, the tacklers.
Let's check out the blocking on that last play, led by Ron Yeri. Good block by Chuck Foreman on Larry Cole is the key to this.
I think we saw Ed White in action, too, pulling from the left side, Wayne.
I'll tell you, you'll find the Vikings anytime they really feel like they need it. They'll run behind Ron Yeri over on that right side. What a ball player he is.
The ball at the 21. Second down and 5. Foreman worked for the yardage. It'll be third down coming up. And I guess these Vikings slept pretty well last night, Pat. They're not upset at all by this championship situation.
They sure look like it now, don't they? It's a fine drive, as you've been saying before.
Cole and Jordan were the last tacklers. And it's third down and 1. And that's the one thing that Tarkenton has been able to do, Wayne. Get him in that third and short situation.
Well, once again, the wide receivers come out, and big tight end, the lineman goes in at the weak side tight end. So more than likely, 3rd and 1. We're going to see a run in this situation.
2 rookies are in there. Goodrum and Kingsrider are helping with the blocking. 3rd and 1. Foreman following Reed. Very close. Very close. The referee here today is Norm Schachter. Lou Palazzi, the umpire. Tony Batteri, the head linesman. Art Holst, the line judge. The back judge is Tom Keller. Field judge Tony Scober. John McDonough and Cal Lepore are the alternates. Well, is Minnesota going to have to settle for a field goal, or will a first down allow them to continue what might be a touchdown drive? Inches. Okay, Bud Grant. What are you going to do?
I think they got to go for the first down.
I think they got to go for the field goal. You're right. I'm wrong. They're going to go for the first down. I'd go for the 3 myself.
I'm going to say they're going to run up to the right side behind Ron Yeri, as we talked about earlier, too.
Dallas shores up their defense, and they put Rodrigo Barnes in there. He plays on their goal line defense. The ball is on the 16. Fair play. Fourth down. First down. Oscar Reed got it. First down. Yeah, he got it. He was driven back, but his progress took him very close to the 15-yard line as he hurdled. I thought that the left defensive end, Chuck Goodrum, had moved just before the snap. I was surprised I didn't see a flag.
I thought so, too. I thought he moved his right leg. As it looks like we're going to have another measurement. Look at it again. Watch the second man in on the far side. Looked like he moved ahead of time.
Yeah, he beat the count. I don't know why they're measuring. He made it by 4 inches. Watch it again and check the forward progress of Oscar Reed.
They put a double team on Gregory that time, and Reed right over the top. He made it, as you say, with just inches to spare.
It's a Minnesota first down. The ball at the 16-yard line. 4:45 remaining in the first quarter. No score. Gilliam to the left. Jim Lash is to the right. Stu Boyd is back in there. First down pass again. Throwing long for Lash. Can't get there. He'd been bumped before the ball was in the air. Charlie Waters got to him twice, Pat.
Was not a good pass by Tarkenton. It seemed to slip out of his hand. Did not have a lot of zip on it.
And here it's very meaningful. The Lash comes out and the veteran Carroll Dale goes back in. He knows how to get away from those cornerbacks.
Probably runs as good a pass pattern as anybody who ever played the game of pro football. Very disciplined type receiver.
This drive has already included 15 plays for Minnesota. 2nd and 10. I guess they'll throw again, huh? End around fake to Carroll Dale. The pass to Oscar Reed. And he gained about 9 yards on that play. The fake draw, the fake end around, and then the swing pass with Dede Lewis and Dave Edwards, the linebackers, finally stopping the play.
This is a good-looking play here. Well executed. Well done by Oscar Reed and by Chuck Foreman.
They were spread out all over the field,
yes,
weren't they?
Sir.
Oscar Reed really did a good job. He was the one that the handoff was fake to. Then he held in there and really sold that for a while. He didn't take a move, crouch down, and the linebackers really lost sight of him.
It's 3rd down and 2. And the ball is at the 7, and Goodrum checks back in on offense, and Rodrigo Barnes checks in on defense for Dallas. 3rd and 2. Down, a touchdown, but there's a flag holding against Minnesota. What do you think of that? Reed burst into the end zone, but that flag came down very early. And the official was very emphatic about the call. The umpire, Lou Palazzi, called it. We'll watch the play again and see if you can tell who latched on.
Spectacular block, double team block by Ron Urey and Chuck Goodrum.
I think it's Urey.
The holding penalty was called on Urey, is correct. I guess he should get a good block, huh?
And he did. He had him back there. But you know what? That's more a mental error than I think anything. Holding on a running down is really a mental error more than it is a physical error.
3rd down and long. The Vikings have kept the ball for almost 9 minutes. And it's 3rd down and 17. They've got to get to the 6-yard line for a first down. Carroll Dale's to the right, John Gilliam to the left. Put Fred Cox under the gun.
Harvey Martin replacing Larry Cole, as he often does in passing situations. He's number 79. And he is just a great pass rusher. He got away from Ron Urey.
Boy, that really hurt the Vikings. The longest field goal of the year by Fred Cox was 41 yards. This is a 44-yard attempt with Krause holding the ball. Oh, yeah. 3 points for Minnesota. Minnesota breaks on top. 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. The Vikings kept the ball for almost 9 minutes and take the lead 3-0.
A Goodyear tire that saves gasoline isn't exactly a new idea. As you can see from this Goodyear ad that appeared in Collier's Weekly in December 1916. Goodyear tires were cutting down on the nation's fuel bill in another energy emergency. So a Goodyear tire that saves gasoline isn't exactly a new idea, but it's a good one. Today, our tests prove that this Goodyear Steel Guard radial, compared with non-radial tires, gives you extra gasoline mileage. And that's not all. Steel Guard also has these 5 guards to help protect you 5 ways. Flexible polyester cord, double steel belts, computer-designed tread to hold in the wet, cornering grooves, steel sidewall stabilizers. All these 5 guards, and saves gas too. Don't settle for less. Get the custom Steel Guard radial, only from Goodyear.
Minnesota kept the ball for 9 minutes and 1 second. Now Fred Cox will kick off. And Charlie Waters, number 41, talks it over with Cliff Harris, number 43, who'll be the middleman. And the other deep man is Mike Montgomery. Fred Cox took Ron Yary off the hook with that field goal after the holding call. Waters from the 1, 10, 20. Oh, good coverage. Downfield for the Vikings was Jeff Wright, who's a defensive back, number 23. And Charlie Waters got out to the 18-yard line and then was driven back. Saw a lot of action yesterday on CBS in the Sun Bowl. CBS has another college bowl game coming up Tuesday, New Year's Day.
At 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Southwest Conference champion Texas meets Nebraska right here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Okay, the Cowboys are trailing. Garrison and Newhouse are the setbacks. Hayes and Pearson are the wide receivers, and Staubach's going to throw on first down, and he overthrows Drew Pearson, who is very well covered by Nate Wright, number 43. Wright is a story, Pat. He played with Atlanta, nothing. He played with St. Louis, they didn't like him. You put him with a good football team, it's different.
He's had a great year.
I'm going to tell you that Minnesota front four with their rush can make a lot of average backs good, I'll tell you.
Minnesota deep has Nate Wright on the corner, Jeff Wright at safety, Paul Krause at safety, and Bobby Bryant at the right corner. Second down and 10, Dallas from the 18. Straight ahead, Garrison. They're counting a lot on him today, Pat. They're talking about Newhouse taking Hill's place. Nobody takes Hill's place. You've got to make up for it someplace else. They'll be looking for the Cowboy here, won't they?
They sure will. One of the many banners here at Texas Stadium with Jethro Pugh with the noose around Tarkenton. Garrison, by the way, is playing with a cracked collarbone. He's got a special pad on for that.
Bob Lertzma goes in, number 75, and Gary Larson is out on 3rd down and 6 from the Dallas 22 with Bobby Hayes in motion. Hayes caught it, and that's a first down. Paul Krause was covering. That was a terrible-looking play on the snap, wasn't it?
Whole thing looked out of sync.
The Minnesota rush wasn't there. The Dallas team didn't react to the snap. The coverage was good, but the pass was caught.
Just took Paul Krause a little too long to get over there. I think there was a mix-up in the Viking coverage.
Sort of looked that way because they had 2 men over there, and both laid off him much too much. A first down out to the 32 for the Cowboys. 2:45 remaining in the first quarter. Newhouse. He picked up 8 yards. Wayne Walker, that's what you were talking about. An arm tackle doesn't stop him.
And it was Jeff Seaman that met him in the hole, but watch this now. This little guy, they say he runs like a shot put. And that was it, the arm tackle right there as he eluded Seaman.
He launched himself through there like a shot put, didn't he?
Jim Marshall caught him from behind right at the 40-yard line. And Dallas is moving now. Second down and 2. Drew Pearson to the left, Bob Hayes to the right. Garrison is short of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1 coming up. Bob Lertzman made the tackle, number 75. Minnesota, Wayne, is very, very healthy for this game in contrast to the Dallas team.
I think that goes hand in hand with them clinching their division crown so early. They had an opportunity to take some people out and get them healthy again. Coming into today's ball game, the only guy that had a problem was left linebacker Roy Winston, but he worked out the last 2 days, and he's almost 100%.
You saw Rodney Wallace and Gene Puget checking in on 3rd and 1 for Dallas. Newhouse got a first down. Jeff Seaman, number 50, who's only a second-year man from Stanford and doing a whale of a job at middle linebacker, made the tackle, but too late to stop the first down. And Billy Joe Dupree checks in, carrying the play with 1 minute remaining in a very interesting first quarter. The Vikings are on top 3-0. Midfield right is out. Rodney Wallace is playing the right tackle for the Cowboys. They're at their own 43. That's hard work for 2.5 yards. Carl Eller, number 81, finally stopped him. We have 31 seconds remaining in the quarter. The clock running. We may or may not get another play underway. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 for Dallas. Yeah, they'll run another play before the quarter comes to an end. It's 62 degrees here, by the way, and I understand it's 0 up in Minneapolis. And it was 20 below there last night, so we hope you Viking fans are comfortable as you watch our CBS telecast. A delay to Newhouse. He gained only a yard. And getting up is Larson. He made the stop, and the quarter comes to an end. The end of the first quarter with the score. Minnesota 3, Dallas nothing.
There's a new pioneer spirit in America today, the spirit of conservation. It's people realizing there's just not as much energy as we're used to having. And we can help keep factories working and paychecks coming in and America going strong if we just drive a little slower and heat our homes and businesses a little less. If everybody dials down 6 degrees at home and slows down on the highways, it'll conserve enough fuel to provide energy for more than 1 million American jobs. And that's vital to all of us. Amoco Oil is doing all they can to get more energy to us, but until the shortage eases, it's up to all of us to make what there is go further. There's a shortage of energy, but not of the American spirit. Keep your spirit up, the spirit of conservation for the sake of America.
Each year, Tommy Nobis of the Atlanta Falcons spends part of his offseason rounding up dollars so that underprivileged kids can go to camp. His telethon alone sent 200 youngsters who wouldn't otherwise have made it to Camp Rabun in the Georgia Hills. It's so much fun, Tommy goes himself. Volunteering can be fun as well as helpful. If you want to help, call your local Voluntary Action Center or write Volunteer, Washington, D.C., 20013. What we need, money can't buy. We need you.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. And Pat Summerall, I know the Vikings have one TV rooter extra special going for him today.
That would be Carl Koselke, who was injured in that tragic preseason accident. And we certainly wish him well and hope he's feeling well.
Dallas is faced with 3rd and 7 from their own 46. Mike Montgomery is in there, in the backfield and in motion. Staubach needs 7. And Bob Hayes caught it. I want to say something about Bob Hayes, Wayne. He's got a reputation here now that they don't count on him in the clutch situations, but they did that time.
Well, they flooded the area over there with the motion man. Hayes made the turn in, and Bryant now, I think if he'd have played him up around the numbers, he could have brought him off that ball, but he went for the legs.
Hayes knew he was going to get hit, Pat.
He really got way off the ground to make that catch, and that's the kind of pass that he has the reputation of dropping.
Well, he did it that time and gave Dallas a first down at the 39. Quite a strike by Staubach, by the way. Hayes is to the right, Pearson to the left, and the fake to Newhouse, and Pearson to the sideline. No good. Out of bounds. Well, as he comes back to the huddle, that gives us a chance to talk about Drew Pearson. He's a story in himself.
Well, he had 2 touchdown catches last week against Los Angeles, and after the ranks of the wide receivers were depleted for Dallas, he came out of nowhere. He was invited to a tryout camp last spring and then invited back to the regular camp. The Cowboys went out to Thousand Oaks to start their workouts this year, and he has been spectacular. His father-in-law, by the way, is Marcus Haynes.
A great dribbler with the Globetrotters. Second down and 10, and neither team is bashful about throwing the ball on first down. Pearson's to the right and Hayes to the left. And Newhouse gets nothing, and a flag goes down. A flag goes down. Holding Dallas. 14:08 remaining in the half, so Dallas catches the flag here. And Minnesota is going to take the penalty, obviously, get away from field goal range, because Tony Fritsch ordinarily has a longer range than Fred Cox, so the Cowboys have a little edge in that department here today.
Noticed in Bud Grant's comments before the game that the holding penalty, by the way, was called on John Nyland. But back to Bud Grant's comments, this is one of the things he said would determine who won this game. Officials' calls, holding against Dallas.
Norm Schechter, our referee, indicated it, and it's second down and 25. Jack Buck here, Pat Summerall, Wayne Walker alongside. Bob Lertzema has checked into the defensive line, and Gary Larson is out. Frequently we have seen Alan Page holding against that scramble by Staubach. Perhaps you'll be able to pick it up here. There he is, chasing Staubach, and he got him. We lucked into that one, Pat, because Page has been holding them.
I'm not really sure whether that was a hit and control move by Page or just an excellent job of pass blocking by John Nyland. I would think that if they were going to turn one of those 2 tackles loose, it would be Page they turn loose and hit and control with the other one, whether it be Larson or Lertzema.
The ball is out to the Dallas 48, and it's third down and 22. Let's listen to Staubach as he sends Hayes to the right and Pearson to the left. Pearson, Bryant, incomplete. What a battle that was. 2 fine football players. The rookie Pearson, the 6-year veteran Bobby Bryant, both in great position.
And let's look at that coverage again. It's a fine pass by Staubach, too. But Bryant didn't take any of those moves. Pearson tried to get him to head to the inside and then break it back out, but he couldn't. Pass is right on the money, though.
It's the hardest thing for a defensive back to do right there. What Brian did, turn around and look for the ball in the air, because you feel like when you turn around, Pat, you lose a step or two, but boy, you've got to do it. And Brian did it well that time.
That was a classic picture. Bateman stands inside his 35, and Bryant, who's averaged 5.5 yards per return, stands at his 10. West almost got to the ball, and Bryant calls for a fair catch. So the Vikings with the lead, 3-0, get the ball. We have 13-19 remaining in the half, and one thing is for certain. Dallas, without Calvin Hill, has not established their running game at all in this contest.
To the equitable agent, no 2 people are alike.
Is there anyone else in the whole human race with your kind of style and your kind of grace?
No 2 people are alike. That's why your equitable agent thinks of you as an individual. His training and thinking are shaped around you and your life insurance needs. To the equitable agent,
there's nobody else exactly like you. Nobody else like you.
These cherries are brought to you by Burlington Northern. We bring carloads of cherries 2,027 miles by rail at a cost to you of about 3 cents a pound. Burlington Northern's been doing a lot to save you a little money, like moving trains more economically by pulling bigger carloads with more powerful diesels. So when Burlington Northern brings cherries to Chicago, we don't take much of a bite.
After Minnesota kept the ball for 9 minutes and got 3 points, Dallas kept the ball for 6 minutes and came away empty. A holding call cost Minnesota a touchdown earlier, and a holding call probably took 3 points away from Dallas. The ball's at the 14. Foreman and Reed are in the eye. Carroll, Dale, and Gilliam are the wide receivers. There he is, the tight end, Stu Voigt. First down, Minnesota. We're watching a pretty wide open championship game as far as Minnesota's concerned, Wayne.
It's a good time to throw the ball, really. Play action on first down. The defense is geared for the run. One thing it does to the quarterback, though, you'll notice on the play action, it doesn't give him time to read the defense. After he makes his play fake, he has to turn around and pick up a receiver right away. That's the only drawback to play action on first down.
And he was back at his own 14-yard line, so Mr. Tarkenton, who's calling his own plays, is not bashful or shy today. From the 30. He's going to do it again. Yep. Oh, Foreman missed it right through his hands. Foreman tried to turn and go before he put it away. Leroy Jordan was blitzing on the play, and that's why that middle was so wide open, Pat.
And I mean, Ed White put some block on Leroy Jordan. Just decked him as he started his blitz up the middle.
Foreman's kicking himself a little bit. He's the rookie from Miami, Florida. Made a big difference with this Viking football team. Second down and 10 from the Minnesota 30. Oscar Reed squirts out to the 35-yard line, and Leroy Jordan, number 55, covered him. Everybody is really singing about Leroy Jordan down here in the year that he's had.
Spectacular year. He's had 6 interceptions, or had 6 in the regular season. That was high for linebackers in the NFC this year. But I'll tell you, that's a pretty good matchup we're watching today between Jordan, number 55, and Mick Tingelhoff, the offensive center for Minnesota. And he's done quite a job on Leroy so far.
Jim Lash, number 82, checks in as a wide receiver on 3rd and 5. This Dallas crowd imploring their team to get to Tarkenton. Quickie, first down to the tight end, Stu Voigt. And another classic play is pulled off by the Vikings with Cliff Harris, number 43, making the stop. The ball is out to the Minnesota 42, and they're doing a lot of things right.
No question, but what they have dominated the game so far. They look much more solid on offense, much more sure of themselves. The Dallas team's a little tight so far.
Yeah, they've been in the playoffs 8 years in a row, but they have a lot of newcomers in their lineup, both on offense and defense. More so on offense. Tarkenton to Foreman, following Reed. Reed really chopped Cornell Green completely out of the play. Bill Gregory chased the play and caught it, but not till Foreman had rambled down to the 37-yard line.
This is quite a play because they pull the offensive guard in the opposite direction.
It kept Leroy out of there. It froze Leroy. He couldn't get over in pursuit, and Tingelhoff tied him up. That's why Foreman had the running room.
Tarkenton has got the Dallas defense reeling a little bit.
Yes, he does.
We have 10:40 remaining in the half. Tarkenton is 6 out of 10. And he stole a couple away intentionally. Another first down. Good fake. Incomplete. How do you like that hit by Waters on Lash, who unfortunately is shaken up on the play, and it's understandable.
I guess it is understandable. This is some shot here. Going to remember that a while.
Wow. Lash is 6'2", 200-pounder, and you know he had to at least have the wind knocked out of him, and let's hope that's all there is to it. 10:24 remaining in the half. 3-0 Minnesota.
Ford says its mid-size Ford Torino is a great value for today's driving. Hello, I'm Hugh Downs. You can find out for yourself by comparing Torino to other mid-size cars. Front seat passengers should be able to cross their legs. Check the quality. The carpeting should be thick. Feel the seats. They should be firm from center to edge. Test the back for leg room, knee room, hip room. Is the ride smooth, solid, and steady? Ford believes this car meets these tests. And this Gran Torino Brougham carries 6 passengers comfortably, has steel-belted radial ply tires standard, runs on regular gas with a big 26.5-gallon tank. A great car for today's driving. And not a bad idea for carpools either. Others tell you to compare. Ford and your Ford dealers tell you what to compare.
Ford Torino. The closer you look, the better we look.
Jim Lash is on the bench, and it's our guess that he'll be back in there after that hit by Charlie Waters. And Wayne Walker, sometimes just one hit like that by one player can spark an entire defense.
A big play by a defensive player at any time can turn the thing around. They see a hit like that by Waters, everybody else wants to get in on the act.
2nd down and 10 for the Vikings at the Dallas 37. Foreman up the middle. I want to tell you, I've seen some blocking by Oscar Reed that has been unmatched in this game thus far.
Good block by Ed White, who comes and pulls behind the center and leads this play up the hole right over the middle. As you're looking at Foreman, watch Oscar Reed's block on Jethro Pugh. A good block by White also.
Bill Gregory gets over, number 77, and he makes the tackle, and the ball is down at the Dallas 29, and it's 3rd and 1 with Goodrum and Kingsrider checking back in. Up front for the Vikings. Look at Dallas dig in. He wouldn't throw the ball here, would he? No. Reed. He carried everybody forward. And Mr. Walker is about to sing the praises of Ron Yary once again.
I'll tell you what, you just got to get on his back and hang on over there in those short yardage situations. He can blow you out.
Charlie Waters finally put the stop on the play, and a measurement here stops the clock with 9:38 remaining in the half. That was a 3rd down play. Remember earlier, Minnesota had 4th down, and they gambled, and they're confronted with another situation. And they're going to go again.
I don't think they've made up their mind quite yet. He wants them to go for it. Bud Grant just signaled.
Okay, it's 4th down and about a foot. Rodrigo Barnes checks in to bolster the Dallas defense, and Bill Brown goes into the game for the first time, probably carrying a play.
He probably will wind up carrying the ball.
Crew cut and all, huh?
And one of the few remaining.
Okay, we'll keep quiet here. Foreman's timing on the play was terrific. I thought, in fact, he might have been in motion.
He got a good rolling start that time, reminiscent of Leroy Kelly and Essex Johnson. He really got to the line.
That's the way you go through stop signs when you're driving.
He got the first down.
So twice Minnesota has gambled, and it's paid off. Jethro Pugh and Pat Toomey made the stop, and Foreman got the first down. And Pat Summerall was wrong. Bill Brown didn't carry the ball.
But he did have a crew cut.
He did a heck of a job of decoying.
The ball's at the 26. 9 minutes left in the half. Gilliams to the left. Tarkenton throwing and incomplete. Oscar Reed was the intended receiver. Carroll Dale had carried a lot of traffic into the same area.
I think the pass may have been intended for Carroll Dale, and Reed got a little deeper than maybe that pattern was drawn up, because Dale ran a post pattern, and the flare control shouldn't have been that deep.
It's a very difficult pass to throw, as Tarkenton was rolling left and throwing back to the middle, across his body like that.
I was surprised that one wasn't picked off with all those Dallas people coming into the area. 8:50 remaining in the half. 2nd down and 10 from the Dallas 26-yard line. Vikings leading 3-0. Trying to get into the Super Bowl. Dale's to the right, Gilliam to the left. Foreman to the 20. It'll be 3rd down and 3. A strong tackle by Larry Cole, who grabbed him by the shirt and wouldn't turn it loose, but that Minnesota blocking up front has been devastating.
That's been great running, too, by this man, Chuck Foreman. What an outstanding rookie he's been.
He never seems to hit the hole square on, Pat. He's always slanting, something going for him. So.
And likewise, he never seems to take a solid lick from any of the tacklers either.
Foreman has carried 9 times, 57 yards. 3rd down and 3. First and goal from Minnesota. The middle was open again. Jethro Pugh made the tackle. And I think Tarkenton wanted to hit his tight end, Voigt, who'd been very well picked up.
He put a great move on middle linebacker Leroy Jordan, who was all set to make a tackle in the open field. And Francis left him with nothing but air.
It's the guy that invented it right there, number 10.
And he never gets hurt, Wayne.
Well, he runs very intelligent, and I saw Roger Staubach do the first thing when he came out this afternoon, and anticipating the contact and getting down.
First and goal. Here comes Reed to the 5-yard line. Mick Tingelhoff threw one of the good blocks. Oscar Reed threw the other, and Ron Yary crunched somebody else. And the tackler was Gregory, helped by Harris. 2nd and goal from the 5. This has got to be, to this point, Pat, the flattest half that Dallas has had in a long time. I guess since they played Philadelphia.
We saw them against Washington the next to the last week of the season. That's the best football game I think I've ever seen them play since I've been watching the Cowboys. But they definitely are flat today. Either that or Minnesota's just playing super football.
2nd and goal. Foreman. He's got it. Yep. That makes it 9-0. Who shook him loose, Wayne?
I'll tell you what, a super block over there by number 83, Stu Voigt on the outside linebacker. Watch the top of your picture. Oh, it was Yary coming out. Now, Yary makes a turn on him.
I'm getting tired of you talking about him.
I saw the 3. I thought it was Stu Voigt, but it was Ron Yary.
Well, Voigt blocked down on the inside man and did a good job there. Yary came around behind him and looped in on the linebacker.
Krause will hold it for Cox, who will try to make it 10-0. He hasn't missed all year. 33 out of 33. Earlier, they kept the ball for 9 minutes. It's 10-0 now. And this time, they kept the ball for another 6 minutes and 10 seconds. We have 6.5 minutes remaining in the half. And here in Dallas, it's all Minnesota, and it's 10-0.
Ring in the holidays. Ring out the year. Sparkling with Andre. Love and good cheer. Take Andre home for the holidays. Andre for the holidays.
What's a celebration without Andre champagne to lend sparkle and elegance? And Andre cold duck to keep things bubbling along. Greet the season and your friends with the best. Andre.
For the holidays and all year long.
If you were thinking about replacing the tires on your American car, remember this. Of all the steel-belted radial tires, only one is offered as original equipment by all 4 major automakers. The Goodyear Steel Guard Radial, with these 5 guards to help protect you 5 ways. The Steel Guard Radial, only from Goodyear.
We mentioned earlier that Fran Tarkenton is now a winner, no longer a loser. And what a display he is presenting today. He's got the Dallas defense back on their heels. Cox will kick it off. Cliff Harris is the middleman. Montgomery and Waters are the other deep receivers. 6:31 remaining in the half. And Dallas needs something badly. Like a return from Harris from 1 yard inside. 10, 20. He's got a little going for him. Shy of the 35-yard line. Harris had averaged 25 yards per return, and Bobby Bryant finally stopped that one. I saw Bill Brown in the middle of that play also. Well, that might spark him as the Cowboys come out to their 33.
Let's watch that return again. Number 30, of course, is Bill Brown, playing on the special teams after 13 years in the league and pursuing very well.
A 34-yard return takes it out to the 33. Bob Hayes is a slot back to the right and in motion now. Garrison gives the Cowboys a few. Earlier, Minnesota had a 17-play drive and got 3 points. And the last time, a 14-play drive for 7 points. Paul Krause was a tackler on Walt Garrison. We mentioned Calvin Hill being out, and Otto Stowe has not been activated for this one. He had a broken ankle earlier. He could play in the Super Bowl if Dallas gets there. 2nd and 6. Pearson in motion. Newhouse. Stopped cold by Carl Eller, number 81. And it'll be 3rd down and 4 for Dallas.
That's a matchup that we intended to watch throughout the day between 2 All-Pros, Rayfield Wright and Carl Eller. So far, you'd have to say the edge goes to Minnesota and to Eller.
It's obvious here, Wayne, that Staubach's trying to get that running game established, because unless he does that, he's sunk this afternoon.
Well, he's got a long way to go yet in the ballgame. 5 minutes remaining in the first half, and he does have to get it going.
Montgomery checks into the backfield. He's a pretty good pass receiver. And he's in the pattern. Mr. Larson, the 10-year man from Concordia, number 77, forces Dallas to punt. Good coverage downfield by Minnesota. Everybody.
Had to be, because the protection really wasn't that bad. When Roger stepped up in the pocket, he had nowhere to go. And that gentleman right there made the tackle.
Bateman into punt again. We want to say hello to a favorite of ours, Bill Kilmer. I understand he came through an operation in good shape over at Georgetown University Hospital. Tough horse.
Yes, sir.
A ball to the 34. Bobby Bryant waiting for Marv Bateman's kick. So Minnesota, with 4:44 remaining, is going to get the ball again. And leading 10-0, Bryant calls for fair catch. Why not? The ball at the 25-yard line, and the Vikings get the ball again. They're leading by the score of 10-0. A 44-yard field goal by Fred Cox and a 5-yard run by Foreman. 10-0 Minnesota.
I'm a firm believer in STP oil treatment. Ever since I bought my car new, I've had STP in a crankcase. And that's over 170,000 miles without engine trouble. It would still be driving today, except for this damage in the front end. You can bet that my new car has STP in its crankcase. I wouldn't drive without it.
All these people are about to make copies in less than 30 seconds on the IBM Copier 2. As you can see, this copier lets you feed in originals continuously. It ejects them automatically, and it gives you your copies fast. The IBM Copier 2, the copier that waits for you instead of you waiting for it.
Treat your family to the star-studded pageantry of the Cotton Bowl Festival Parade and the Tournament of Roses Parade. Enjoy these big events and more New Year's Day on CBS.
Jack Buck, Wayne Walker, Pat Summerall with you. Minnesota's ball at their 26th first down. We were talking it over up here, and some of our summations were that Staubach is throwing the ball poorly. Dallas has no pass rush, has not had to this point. Minnesota has employed some new plays at this point in the game. Gilliam to the left. Oscar Reed. This is a spot, Pat, where Tarkenton, well, I guess he could sit on the ball if he wanted to, but if he can bring himself to keep it wide open like this, he's going to do himself a lot of good.
He's been able to do just about whatever he wants to, Jack. That run by Oscar Reed gets Minnesota over the 100-yard mark already. Last week, the Rams only got 93 in the whole game. So that's the key right there, the fact that Minnesota's been able to run against Dallas.
Reed has run for 29 yards and Foreman for 62. And it's 2nd down and 3. Look at Foreman. And he gets a first down. What a reckless runner he is. Dave Edwards, the outside linebacker, number 52, cracked in and stopped it. And D.D. Lewis, number 50, also helped. Minnesota hasn't lost any of their zip at all.
I think part of their philosophy has to be taking note of the fine year that Leroy Jordan has had, and also taking note of the absence of Bob Lilly in the heart of that defense. They are running right at the middle, trying to control Leroy Jordan, and just getting a super job done of blocking Bill Gregory.
First down at the 37. Well, there's a big hit on a blitz. Jordan, Edwards, Jethro Pugh. Wayne, what do you think of blitzing on running downs?
Well, it's a solid. You'll see Leroy slip off here now on the down block by Sunday. And I don't know if that was a blitz or just a line stunt. It was hard to tell right at the time. But blitzing against the run is very solid. The only trouble you have, if they do happen to pop it, they're in the secondary immediately with no linebackers.
Second down and 10. We have 2:40 remaining in the half and the clock running. So Tarkenton's going to put it up. Foreman, Jethro Pugh, and D.D. Lewis made the stop. Very short yardage. Third down and long coming up. That's the first time in the game Dallas has made 2 consecutive defensive plays. And the crowd is coming alive. Harvey Martin checks in to the Dallas defense. A rookie from East Texas State. He's wearing number 79. He's good, Pat.
Very good.
We're down to the 2-minute mark now. The Minnesota on a field goal by Cox of 44 yards and a 5-yard run by Foreman, having picked up 14 first downs in the game, leads 10-0.
Have you seen it yet? New Ford Mustang 2. Come see how much car a great little car can be.
Look what we've done to our Mustang. Look what we've done to that car. Well, we changed the size, we changed the style, and you're gonna like it fine. So, look what we've done to that car.
New Ford Mustang 2. Built smaller than the original Mustang, with an easy-on-gas 4-cylinder engine. A sensational ride. It's richly appointed, with luxurious bucket seats, cut pile carpeting, wood-grained instrument panel, tachometer, all standard. It's the right car at the right time.
When you take a ride, you're gonna know that Mustang's one of a kind. So, look what we've done.
Mustang 2, $28.95 base sticker price, excluding dealer prep, destination charges, title, and taxes at your Ford dealer.
Standing on the sideline and missing from that Dallas defense is this man right here, Bob Lilly. I think Tom Landry paid him the supreme compliment last year when he said, frankly, nobody is as good as Bob Lilly. I don't care who it is. And you've got to miss a man like that.
I bet he's eating his heart out down there on the sideline, because as pro football players will tell you, when they're hurt, they feel like they just don't belong to the team at all. Third down and 7. 2 minutes left in the half. Gilliam to the left. Carroll Dale to the right. How about that? And a 3rd and 7. Foreman picks up another first down. Cliff Harris was the tackler.
And again, look at this blocking by Ed White and Grady Alderman, and watch Leroy Jordan being taken by, I believe that time it was Milt Sunday.
Tell you the truth, I missed that handoff. I was watching the pass pattern downfield. I was so certain he was going to throw the ball.
They must have been too.
That's why I said, how about that? First down. And broken up by Renfro. Jim Lash, who was injured earlier, was the intended pass receiver, and Renfro's speed just did get him there. I thought Tarkenton had some running room, but he's just not inclined that way so much.
Not as much as he used to be. Of course, with the experience that he's gotten, he reads defenses a lot better, and he's able to pick up receivers and secondary receivers a lot better than he used to be.
And he gets that good pass blocking up front, Pat.
And, of course, it takes a while, too, Jack, for the receivers to get used to a man like this who's running around. It's a moving target for them to find, as well as for him to find as he looks downfield.
1:19 left in the half. Second down and 10. Harvey Martin is in there to try to bolster the Dallas defense. Oscar Reed got only a couple. Let's see if the Cowboys stop the clock. Nope, not yet. 1:10 remaining in the half. Jethro Pugh, the primary tackler, number 75. We're coming up to the 1 minute mark, and neither team is inclined to bring a halt to the proceedings. At halftime, Tom Landry, the coach of the Cowboys, is going to be your football instructor, and he's going to talk about the screen pass.
There's Tom now. Screen pass, although it looks like a very simple play, is one of the most difficult ones to execute in football. Landry's an expert on it.
You'll learn about it at halftime in the NFL playbook. And nothing doing on that one. The whistle had sounded. Tarkenton took all the time that he wanted, and a delay of game comes about with 34 seconds remaining in the half. I guess he did that by design, didn't he, Pat?
I imagine he wanted to keep the clock running and take as much time as he could. He didn't want to stop because they're trying to run it out now. I was surprised, frankly, that the Cowboys didn't take a timeout. I think certainly they will now.
They will after this play. It's 3rd down and 12 back at the 48-yard line. Gilliam comes to the left. Carroll Dale is to the right. Benny Barnes is in the defensive backfield for the Cowboys. 3rd and 12. Sideline pass, Gilliam. No, out of bounds. He tried desperately to get those feet down. He wants to discuss it. He doesn't argue very vehemently about it. And now we have 29 seconds left in the half.
Now we can look at that again. I think he did get one foot down in time, but not the other. Remember, in pro football, you got to get both feet down in bounds unless you're knocked out by a defender. There's one. I think the other was on the line.
Eischeid is in to do the punting. Mike Eischeid. And this will be his first punt of the game. Golden Richards, who has excellent hands and good speed, is not going to have much of a chance. Yeah, you better call for a fair catch. And Minnesota has downed the ball inside the 10. I think he had an idea, Pat, and then sneaked a peek and said, better not.
All right, well, the ball was so high, Eischeid kicked it just exactly like he wanted to. In that particular spot on the field, you try to kick it high and not kick away, so they do have to either fair catch it or let it bounce. I know that Tom Landry believes that you shouldn't handle the ball inside the 15-yard line, and Richards didn't do it.
So Eischeid really helped the Vikings with that one. The ball was down on the 7-yard line. A 47-yard punt. Dallas has been blanketed. And they're not going to try to do anything about it. They're going to count on the final 30 minutes to bring them back and send them to the Super Bowl. That's the last play of the first half, because neither team is going to stop it. It's a Viking afternoon thus far, but 30 more minutes of football remain. Will it be different in the second half? That's the end of the first half. The score, Minnesota 10, Dallas nothing. Will it be different in the second half? That's the end of the first half. The score, Minnesota 10, Dallas nothing.
Not all radial tires are the same. Some have smooth riding polyester cord. Some have steel belts. Some have steel stabilizers for handling. Some have a computerized tread to hold in the wet. Some have special grooves for precise cornering. But only Goodyear has them all. The Goodyear Steel Guard Radial, with these 5 guards to help protect you 5 ways. Steel Guard, only from Goodyear.
Okay, I don't have to tell you, man, that life is no push-up. Right. But Joe and his family need life insurance protection badly. Right. And this New York Life team is going to get it for him, right? Let's go. Protect his family. Take the worry off his back. He wants to retire in comfort. Show him the way, New York Life!
Where the name of the game is life,
there's New York life.
It makes sense to me that the man who handles America's only lead-free premium gasoline is going to give you good value in everything he sells, from tires, batteries, and quality motor oils to many kinds of service your car needs. He's your Amoco dealer, and he has more than quality gasoline. Like they say, you expect more from Amoco, and you get it.
Stay tuned for NFL Playbook, sponsored by the American Express card, after this word from your local station.
See Jeanette Nolan, alias Dirty Sally, in the role that inspired a brand new television series tomorrow night on Gunsmoke, here on CBS.
.351.
Which credit card should you take on vacation?
Frankly, the American Express card is the only card that I would ever use. Whereas a lot of other cards are not readily acceptable. The American Express, I've never had it turned down. I've never had it questioned.
I can't possibly imagine going on a vacation without an American Express credit card. American Express just opens the doors for me wherever I want to go.
I never travel with cash. I always travel with an American Express card. It's a dynamite credit card.
Call 800-AE8-5000 to apply for an American Express card.
I feel that the deceptive game, which the screen is one of the essentials of deceptive game, plus the draw play, those are the things that really make an excellent passing game.
Number one offense, the starting team out, two-minute period.
Basic purpose of a screen pass is to discourage the pass rush, because unless you can slow down the defensive line's rush in passing situations, you're not going to have an effective passing game.
Let's go over the coaching points of the screen play. Now, the main thing is that Blaine, in this position, he's a key to the screen because his timing must be perfect in order to pull the lineman out into the setup. Now, Walt, in your position right here, the thing you're doing on the snap of the ball is I'm checking the blitz right here. If he's coming, I'm going to engage him, and then I'm going to slip out into the screen. If he isn't coming, my next pickup is the end right here. Then as soon as I've checked the outside man, the end, then I'll come into the seam and start to search. And as soon as Blaine releases, I pick it up and go. Okay, let's run it once.
The simplest screen that we have is where we just call a screen right or left, which means that the back on that side will be the one that will run the screen pattern. The techniques that are involved in this particular type of screen is the back who's setting in the screen look as though he is blocking on the play. And then what he's trying to wait for is for the release of the guard who leads the screen out to his side. And as soon as he sees that guard move, then he will slide inside of the block of the tackle and move out into position to catch the ball. And the back and the guard release is the most essential thing, I think, in a screen, and that's the most difficult thing to get. The quarterback's function is very important, and his action when he comes away from the center, he drives very deep, very fast. He hesitates a second and give the defensive lineman the impression that he's in the pocket ready to throw as they release from the lineman. And as soon as he feels this, he drops again for the timing of the pass before he lays off to the back. If you get those 4 linemen coming at you and the quarterback's able to draw them in on him, then you'll have an effective screen 9 times out of 10. If you're going to defeat a screen, then you have to defeat it basically with defensive line recognition. The back is, if he sets in there and doesn't do anything, he's just like a zombie. If he just stands there, then everybody in the league will recognize that it's a screen. If he sits there and doesn't really look like a blocker, then these are the things the defensive linemen read. And as soon as they read it, they're right out with him. You'll see them grab him in film after film. You'll see a defensive lineman go in there and grab a back. Well, the back is not an actor. You got to be an actor to run a good screenplay. Well, the offensive guard, who is the lead blocker in the screen, his initial hit will be almost the same, but not quite as tough as he would do on normal pass protection. Then he tries to get the defensive lineman to avoid him away from the screen instead of towards the screen, where he might pick up the back. The whole timing is set on the lead guard. He has to have the timing of the screen. He must make it look as though it's a pass, and then he must release on timing, because everything is controlled by him. When he goes, everybody goes. The basic left-right screen that we've been talking about is the one that started as far back as you can remember in football in the passing game. But since that time, we have a number of different variations of the screen. What we call the quick screen variation, the back just checks quick and flares, and the lineman just hit on a 1 count, brush block, and go. And if those defensive linemen have taken 2 steps in, it's too late, because the back's already outside on the move. It's a real speed screen. If you have an exceptional runner that does a great job in open field, then this is the best way to get him out in the open. You try not to change your timing from one type of screen to another. And so what happens on a double screen is that the initial fake of your screen is very quick, the way you don't want to go. And as soon as those defensive men, and they see the quarterback start his fake that direction, then they'll turn to go into the screen immediately. When that happens, then the quarterback works away from that, back out the other side where your screen is set up. In our arsenal of screens that we have, we feel like today, to counter all the many different defensive variations that we get, that we must have a number of different types of screens, whether they're right and left, whether across the backfield, whether a tight end screen, or whether a quick screen to either back, or a quick screen out to the outside people. We have all those screens within our playbook. And in our game plan, we'll choose the one that's going to be most effective for the opponent that we're going up against that week.
Washington, D.C., and some advice from people who travel for a living.
The American Express card seems to be the only one I can use everywhere I go.
I don't have any other credit cards. I just use the American Express card. And I've traveled from Maine to Hawaii in it, and it's never been turned down yet.
I don't have a lot of other credit cards. The American Express card is all that I need. When I'm on the road, I live on my American Express card because it's so universally accepted.
Call 800-AE8-5000 to apply for an American Express card.
Happy New Year, everyone. From all of us at CBS, it's 10-0 here at halftime of this NFC Championship game. Jack Buck, Pat Summerall, Wayne Walker, hope we've added to your enjoyment of the game. And the Cowboys might come back, Pat, but their fans and their team has to be bitterly disappointed at what has transpired thus far.
Well, Minnesota, you really can't take too much away from the job, but they've done, particularly running against the Dallas defense that over the years has been very difficult to run against. They've done a great job of controlling Leroy Jordan in the middle. Mick Tingelhoff has done a spectacular job in executing those blocks up the middle. And they've just dominated the game, quite frankly. Now, as you look ahead to the second half, Tom Landry in Dallas is not a guy who's going to make a lot of basic changes. He's going to stick to the same things that he's been doing and just try to make them work, just try to execute a little bit better. But Minnesota has dominated the first half, haven't they, Wayne?
Yes, they have, Pat. You know that Bud Grant has always talked about the over-importance of a game plan. He always feels that you have to be a counterpuncher in a game. Come in and see what's happening and then adjust your moves from there. But they did come into this ball game this afternoon with 2 or 3 things in mind, 2 or 3 new plays, a misdirection of the guard that held Leroy Jordan, a sprint-out draw that worked a couple times. And so they came in with 2 or 3 new plays, which is a little bit strange for them, and they worked.
Of course, Dallas has a built-in excuse if they're going to need excuses when it's over with the absence of Calvin Hill. He adds an entire dimension to the game by himself.
Well, of course, he's a better pass-receiving target than Bob Newhouse is, merely by the fact that he's 6 inches taller. He might have a little bit more speed than Newhouse. He's probably a little bit more durable than Bob. I think that's one of the questions the Cowboys had about Bob, whether he'd be able to hold up under a long game competition like this.
This game started so slowly with the people popping each other and feeling each other out. And then Tarkenton started to throw the ball on first down, and he forced Staubach to do the same thing when the Cowboys got behind. And his play calling, Wayne, has been exquisite here today.
Well, Pat mentioned earlier, he's really had them off balance, back on their heels. I've never seen him look more poised and more confident than he does today.
And I think, excuse me, Jack, on the other side of the fence, Staubach has not been very sharp at all. His passing has been off. The whole rhythm of the Dallas offense has been off considerably.
I'm not rooting for Minnesota. I really don't care. None of us do who wins the game. We just like to see a good football game. But you have to feel pleased for Tarkenton because he's been on the hook so long and so badly maligned that this has got to be a great day for him. To this point, of course, we're not saying the game's over.
I'd like to say something about that. That has been a lot of media talk about Fran Tarkenton, a fellow that the people that have played against him and played with him over the years know that he's a great competitor and a great winner, and that's been overplayed over the years.
We're almost ready to begin the second half with Dallas kicking to Minnesota.
The National Football Conference Championships are being sponsored by New York Life Insurance Company and your local New York Life agent, and by the new premium wines from Ernest and Julio Gallo, and by Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire, and by Ford and your Ford dealer. The closer you look, the better we look.
Fuel shortages hurt, travel's cut to the core. Now we sell by long distance, don't get around much anymore. Closed a deal in L.A., bid a job in Bangor. Now we sell by long distance.
With long distance, you can still get around and save money, too. It's the next best thing to being there.
Ever stay at a hotel you thought was convenient, only to find out your business is way across town? Well, Holiday Inn gives you a choice of locations in every major city.
Just look at the time. There's another Holiday Inn.
And as every businessman knows, that can really pay off.
Has the 85th Tournament of Roses Parade. On New Year's Day, June Lockhart and Bob Barker will be the commentators. The Rose Bowl Parade commences here on CBS at 11:30 Eastern Time. Cowboys are at their 20 and trailing 27-10. 8.5 minutes. They have time if they can get something done here. Pearson, incomplete. And it was Jeff Wright and Nate Wright in on the tackle, and they're really belting him back there, aren't they?
Getting a good pass rush, and Jim Marshall comes back after the back injury before Bob Lurtzema comes out.
These Cowboy receivers know that they're going to get walloped, upended when they catch a ball. Minnesota defense has held forth here today, and Tarkenton has taken them on to 27 points along with Bobby Bryant. 2nd and 10. Pearson to the right, Hayes to the left. Larson is after him. Staubach gets away. He's going out of bounds. And the man who ran him out is shaken up. Bobby Bryant is a little slow in getting to his feet. He's a tough customer, number 20, 6'1", 170 pounds. You see him walking alongside Hilgenberg and Page. You can tell he's not big at all. But he makes you pay when you play in his area. 3rd down and 2. That's the first completed pass by Staubach in the second half of this game. He's completed 7 and 4 intercepted. 3rd and 2. And the bomb. Pearson, Bryant. Nobody. Incomplete. Bryant got some help from Paul Krause, and the Cowboys, trailing by 17, have to punt it away with 8:05 remaining in the game. That Pearson's had 2 people with him wherever he's gone, Pat.
They've pretty well taken care of his appearance on the field today. He hasn't been able to do anything. Hasn't caught but one 5-yard sideline pass.
On 4th down and 2, and I mentioned the yardage because the Cowboys might not kick the ball. Bateman is back to punt inside his 15. He kicks it away. It's high in the air, and Bryant calls for the fair catch. Fumble! Minnesota. No. Dallas. Bill Gregory, number 77, came away with the pigskin.
That was a funny-looking punt by Bateman, sort of a knuckleball that Bryant never did find the handle on. Vikings were around it right here, but just couldn't come up with it. This ball's still loose now.
It bounced up to Gregory, as it turned out. Well, still time for the Cowboys. 7:54 remaining if they can get in. Pearson's got it. The 15 now, and the ball squirted away. He got it back. Jeff Wright almost grabbed it as it squirted away from Pearson.
You know they've got to be a little bit conscious about getting hit when they catch the ball because they've taken some awful shots. Pearson here again gets hit hard.
Well, that's really great concentration right there. He didn't come off that ball for a second, and he knew that he was in a crowd.
Now the ball squirts away right there. And Pearson pulled it back in. Pearson has now caught 2 passes for 25 yards. He goes to the left, Hayes to the right. 7:10 remaining in the game. Minnesota leading by 17. And a flag. It'll be first and goal. Called against Nate Wright.
Let's watch Bobby Hayes now. I think you'll see number 43, Nate Wright. Watch his arm. It'll get around in front as he tries to play over the ball. And he was holding him with that right arm.
Yeah, it was the old right arm that got him in trouble. First and goal from the 2-yard line. Dupree and Fugit come in. Try to help with the blocking and get Dallas into the end zone. 7:03 remaining in the game. Garrison and Newhouse. Garrison is at the goal line. Fumble. And Minnesota gets the ball.
Gary Larson, I think, came up with it. I'll tell you, what a job this defense has done.
Boy, you can't say enough good things about this Minnesota defense. Larson did come up with the ball.
That's a hit by Hilgenberg right here. It's that ball out of there. Now watch the ball come right back, right underneath Gary Larson.
I'll be darned. I thought the Cowboys were going to get in and cut the margin to 10 points with 7 minutes left.
Well, they've had plenty of opportunities, no question about that. But Minnesota defense has just been great.
Now Tarkenton will be inclined to use as much time as he can as he starts from his own 3. He gives it to Oscar Reed. The Cowboys have had 6 turnovers in this game, 2 fumbles, 4 interceptions, and you can't win like that.
Not against a team like Minnesota.
Reed carried out to the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. We're coming up on the 6.5-minute mark in the game. Less than that now. A few of the Dallas faithful have started to file out. Reed again. And he gets a couple of yards. Jethro Pugh wrapped him up along with D.D. Lewis. Now we're coming up on the 6-minute mark, and Minnesota maintains their 17-point advantage. They led at the half 10-0. The end of the 3rd quarter, they led by only 7. And then it all started, despite the interception by Waters. The fumble by Staubach, a fumble by Tarkenton, an interception by Bryant, an interception by Jeff Wright, a fumble by Garrison. The ball is at the 9, and it's 3rd and 4. 5.5 minutes left. And I'll be darned, they get a first down with Oscar Reed. And the Vikings will keep the ball a while longer. Cliff Harris made the tackle. Reed started up the middle, as you saw, then ducked outside very quickly.
And that's another mark of a fine football team, is Oscar Reed either is tired or got the wind knocked out of him.
Bill Brown replaces him.
Be back buried in your own goal line, close to your own goal line, and be able to come out of there with a first down when you're trying to run out the clock, as the Vikings are, is, as I said, the mark of a very, very good team.
Reed had a good game last week against Washington. Another good one. Ball is at the 19-yard line, and Foreman got a couple. Now we're coming up. Tempers flare. The officials break it up. 4.5 minutes left. Minnesota 27-10 over Dallas.
Not too much strategy involved now, as the Vikings will just try to run out the clock. Tarkenton, by the way, has called, it seems to me, an almost perfect football game. One bad pass, I think, is about the only mistake he's made.
2nd down and 7 from the Minnesota 22. And Bill Brown crosses the 25, bringing about a 3rd down play. 3:45 remaining in the game.
Bill Brown is really something special as far as football players go. He's played 13 years, number 30. He is the leading active rusher in the NFC, and we've watched him from time to time this afternoon on special teams, which he really relishes.
And he can catch the ball, too.
He's the Vikings' all-time leading pass receiver as well.
We didn't have a turnover in the entire first half of this game, but the second half has been replete with fumbles and interceptions. 3rd and 2 here, and another first down. Foreman got it this time, crossing the 30-yard line, and we come up on the 3-minute mark. Cliff Harris was the tackler. As we mentioned earlier, Brent Musburger and Jack Whitaker are part of our telecasting crew. And our postgame show today will take you into both dressing rooms, the winners and the losers. And so stay tuned for that, because it won't be long. 2:40 remaining in the football game, and the clock running. One more play, then the 2-minute mark will stop the clock. Running with it is Foreman. Dallas trying to tackle the ball. Foreman gets 5 yards. And Tarkenton checked the clock. He'll not run another play. The officials will next indicate the 2-minute mark. Coming off is Milt Sunday limping.
You're looking now at the play by middle linebacker Leroy Jordan, as Sunday apparently hurt himself when he made that block.
Now Dallas takes a timeout. So Dallas employs one of their timeouts. This is 2nd down and 6 coming up.
Well, if Dallas truly did take a timeout, I would be very surprised because just 6 seconds left before they'd stop it for the 2-minute mark.
But that's what they've done.
In a Ford Model T, you can depend on just about everything, except the weather. In a Ford Pinto, you can make your own weather. Pinto's price is so low you can afford a sunroof, air conditioning, a rear window defroster to make the weather inside your Pinto as dependable as your Pinto. The economical little Pinto. Base sticker price $24.42 excluding dealer prep, destination charges, title, and taxes. At your local Ford dealer.
A good man can captain a ship. But now you realize it's a richer man who can captain respect. That's a gusto world worth finding and celebrating.
Once around life.
Any more, Captain? Here's to you, Captain.
Once around living.
Good luck, Skipper.
Once around being.
In your boot, then.
You'll keep around Schlitz.
Here's to you. Good on you, Skipper.
A while back in this game, Dallas had 1st and goal on the 2-yard line, and they fumbled. Pat, you just know this game would have been different with Hill in the game, Calvin Hill.
Well, it's another dimension added to the Dallas offense, in addition to being the 1,000-yard rusher that he was and has been for the last 2 years. He poses so many other threats that a defense has to consider.
2:06 remaining in the game. 2nd and 6 for Minnesota, and Foreman has to go very deep, trying to turn the corner. And Cliff Harris came up and met him and bumped him out, and now we have 2:01 remaining on the clock. So Dallas is able to make use of all the remaining time, for there'll be yet another play and then the 2-minute warning. Tells the story, 27-10. There's Nate Wright, number 43, and Gary Larson, 77. These folks are headed for Houston. In 2 minutes, there'll be one NFC team alive, and that'll be the Vikings. And no one can say they didn't earn it here today, Wayne Walker.
No, they played super, and actually what they are earning is $8,500, the winner shares of today's game, and a guarantee, I think, of $16,000 whether they win or lose at the Super Bowl. So it was worth showing up for.
3rd down and 1. And another 1st down. The Vikings will keep the ball. Benny Barnes came up and put the final stop on it, along with Cliff Harris. But Reed got the 1st down. CBS will resume its coverage of the NBA next weekend. Sunday at 2:30 Eastern Time, the Phoenix Suns and the Chicago Bulls. You'll be doing that one, Pat.
Along with Hot Rod Hundley and Elgin Baylor.
Not only on Sunday afternoons on CBS, but some Saturday afternoons and some evening games through the end of the playoffs. That's the NBA on CBS, where you see the best in basketball on the #1 network. It's Calvin Hill. Had to be a dreadful day for him. Laid up with a dislocated elbow. A very untimely injury. And the Vikings, obviously pleased with what they've accomplished. They beat a good Washington team. And they beat a good Dallas team here this afternoon. 1:58 remaining in the game. The ball to the Minnesota 44-yard line. Chuck Goodrum is playing on the offensive line for the Vikes. I think we had Osborne in there for the first time carrying the ball. Dave Osborne, the 9-year veteran from North Dakota, number 41. He got across the 45. 1:45 remaining in the game. Cowboys have 2 timeouts remaining. They're not inclined to employ them. They'd be kicking a dead dog if they did, Pat.
Just making it last a little longer.
Ed Marinaro is in there with Dave Osborne. My hat is off to Fran Tarkenton. We said earlier that you're not looking at a loser any longer. You're looking at a winner. And he has had a day today.
He's called an outstanding game.
2nd down and 7. Osborne blows through for another 1st down. 1:10 remaining. Tackler Cliff Harris. They were rather deep in the running back department.
I'll say 5 good ones.
And the rookie Brent McClanahan you could also put in there. So Foreman, Reed, Marinaro, Brown, McClanahan, and Osborne give the Vikings a lot of depth. The clock is stopped with 1:03 left.
Dallas did take a timeout then. They have 1 remaining now. Chuck Foreman's had a very active day. Carried 20 times for 76 yards. The long gain of 20 yards.
Tarkenton has completed 10 out of 21. 1 interception. And the most spectacular play of the day, the long one to Gilliam. He could stand out there, Wayne, throw the ball 50 times and not throw it like he did that one.
I think Pat had it really right when he said he just dropped back and threw it just as far as he could.
The Vikings are approaching the 300-yard mark. 186 yards running against Dallas and 101 through the air. It's 1st and 10 from the Dallas 45. There goes Osborne. Pat, we see this happen frequently at this stage of the game when the defense tries to tackle the football.
Many times it results in long gains like that. Dallas, as we mentioned, has 1 more timeout left. I doubt that they'll take it, particularly now with another first down by Minnesota.
The ball to the Dallas 30-yard line. Less than 40 seconds remaining. 1 more play, and that'll be it unless the Cowboys stop the clock. And the Vikings will head for the Super Bowl in Houston, which you'll see on CBS on the 13th of January. Houston in the winner of the Miami-Oakland game. Another first down for Minnesota. Osborne hangs onto the ball, and Gregory twists him down. Now there are 10 seconds left. And the Cowboys say, no, that's it. And the Vikings are the champions of the National Football Conference. 2 seconds, 1 second, it's all over. And 27-10 is the final score. Graham Tarkenton took his team to the division title. Then led the Vikings to the win over the Washington Redskins by 7 points last week. And another superb afternoon for the 13-year veteran from Georgia. Wayne Walker, any additional comments that we didn't make during the course of the action?
Well, you know, we get a little carried away. Things were working so well for the Vikings today. Their precision, everything was really good, but I think we didn't point out that they really out-hit the Cowboys in every phase of the game. Whenever a ball was cut in their secondary, they were really laying the leather to people. And, you know, you really have to get back to the basics of football, and it is hustling and it is hitting, and they really hit today.
The Vikings came up with 21 first downs, and they went over 300 yards, 305 yards in total offense against the Dallas team. And you just know that they missed Bob Lilly and Greg Hill. But that doesn't detract from the accomplishment of the Minnesota team today.
Well, Calvin Hill being out of there certainly hurt the Cowboys, but as you said, you can't take anything away from Minnesota. I doubt it would have made a difference winning or losing the ball game had Calvin Hill been there because of the performance that the Vikings turned out today.
The first time they had the ball, they kept it for 9 minutes, and Fred Cox kicked a field goal. We have player interviews coming up, and I'm sure you'll enjoy hearing not only what the winners, the Vikings, have to say, but also the losers, the Cowboys. And our friend Jack Whitaker is down on the playing field.
Thank you very much, Jack Buck and Wayne Walker and Pat Summerall. You won't believe it, but the last Cowboy just a second ago went up this tunnel. They left this field very, very slowly, very reluctantly, and I think it took the Minnesota Vikings about 3 seconds for all of them to be up and whooping up in that winning dressing room where we'll be going in a moment. Another thing here, this big Texas stadium was almost half empty with about 2 minutes left to play here as the fans in Dallas here had given up already on the Cowboys. We'll be talking with all the heroes, and there certainly were 22 of them at least on the Minnesota Vikings. And we'll have a word or two from the Cowboys, too, in just a moment. Brent Musburger is standing by, and we'll return to the winning dressing room here at the NFL Championship in just a moment.
Colt 45's blue plastic clean top carrier seals out anything that could mess up the top of your can. If unique is what you seek, Colt 45 malt liquor.
When the Dutch Master's tobacco buyer comes to Colombia, South America, he visits tobacco dealers like me, Lorenzo Hernandez, and he buys the top grades of tobacco we have to sell. Dutch Masters also buys the best grades of tobacco from Brazil, Puerto Rico, and Santo Domingo, as well as Colombia. Since Dutch Masters buys the best tobacco, they must make a very good cigar.
The final score here was 27-10. The Vikings over the Cowboys. The score here at halftime was 10-0. And the Cowboys missed so many chances that they'll be lamenting this day for a long time. Brent Musburger down in the dressing room of the Winners.
And as you can imagine, Jack Buck, we have a very excited Winners dressing room. This is Bobby Bryant, who today intercepted 2 of the passes thrown by Roger Staubach on my left. On my right, Jim Marshall. The defense of the Vikings absolutely overpowering again. And Bobby, tell me about that one interception. You really turned the game around. 68-yard return for a touchdown.
Well, I didn't realize it was 68 yards, but we were in a zone coverage, and Bob Hayes just ran a breakout pattern, and I read his pattern. I was still about 5 or 10 yards off, and I looked at Staubach, and he was looking out, and he threw the ball, and I was able to get up and get it, and just clear sailing after that.
And you also set one up for Jeff Seaman besides the 2 that you intercepted.
Yes, that was kind of a lucky play, really. I hit the tight end. Staubach had thrown a pass to him, and the ball just deflected up. I didn't really see what happened. I'll have to see it in the movies, but Jeff did catch it, and it was a big interception for Jeff.
All right, Bobby, congratulations. And Jim, of course, when the Cowboys had a chance to get back in there and tie the game, you came around and were able to jar the ball loose. Perhaps you could describe that play for us.
Well, it was a pass play. I kind of felt at the time that they were definitely going to have to pass, so I took a gamble with a real hard outside rush, and fortunate enough to get around the offensive tackle and looked up, and there was the quarterback.
And, of course,
job's easy after that.
The man who recovered it right here, Gary, come on up here on this platform with us, too. Not only did you recover that fumble after Jim spared it loose, but you also got the one down there by the goal line. So that's 2 fumbles for you in the second half, big guy.
Well, you have to give credit to the guy that hit him. I know Jim hit it, and the ball bounced right at my hands, and I'm not sure who hit the second one down the goal line, but I heard a heck of a collision, and I looked up, and the ball bounced right in my hands again. I mean, there's not much credit you can take for recovering them when they come right to you like that.
You know, Bobby, coming into the game, the most celebrated Cowboy of all was Drew Pearson, and you were all over him a couple of times today, too.
Well, they did try to throw to him a couple of times, and I was fortunate to be in the right place.
Tell us a little bit about this Viking team. Last week against Washington, you had a bad first half, and they tell us that Carl Eller had to come in and pick you guys up at halftime. You didn't need any of that incentive today, did you, Jig Jim?
No, we didn't. We knew exactly what we had to do today. We had to play the defensive line had to play an extremely aggressive defensive game, and we knew that we were going to have to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. They run a lot of play passes and things of that sort, and the best way to defense against them is by a very aggressive defense, and we were aggressive today.
Gary, any choice of who you'd prefer to play in the Super Bowl, Oakland or Miami?
Well, they asked me the same question last week, and I'll give you the same answer. I know one team that's going to be there. That's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I don't care who shows up to take us on.
All right, and they also had some offensive stars, Fran Tarkenton and John Gilliam, and we'll be back with them at the Winners' Dressing Room at the NFC Championships in just a moment.
Welcome to the penal colony of French Guiana, whose prisoners you are, and from which there is no escape.
Steve McQueen, Dustin Hoffman, Papillon, the greatest adventure of escape ever filmed. Rated PG.
It's a tough world. To stay on top, you gotta be fast. But sometimes I bite off more than I can chew. I get a real beauty. My head is pounding, my stomach is upset, and I feel achy. So I rest up and I take Alka-Seltzer. It's got specially buffered aspirin with antacids. If I don't feel better, I see the doctor. Because nothing I can get on my own works better than Alka-Seltzer. I know how to look out for myself.
With the score 10-7, these two gentlemen turned it around again for the Minnesota Vikings. Fran Tarkenton on my right with a 54-yard touchdown pass to John Gilliam. Beautiful pattern and a beautiful throw, John.
Thank you, Fran. I think you have to give Fran some credit because he threw a great ball, and we called
Cornell Green was taken away off a crossing pattern. So Fran saw it, and he told me to beat him on the backside, and I just ran a good pattern.
You know, Pat Summerall and Wayne Walker were making the observations today that you were throwing on first down. You certainly weren't as scared of Mel Renfro as some teams had been in the past. You did some things that I don't think the Cowboys expected, Fran.
Well, our whole philosophy in these playoff games is not to try to keep from losing them, but to try to go out and win them. And that's what we've done these last 2 weeks, and we'll try to do in the big one in Houston. And that man right there has been the big man for our offense all year. John has had a super year, and I've never seen a better receiver than he is. I've never played with one, and he made his big play again today for us.
Twice in the first half, 4th and 1. Not scared to gamble, were you, Fran?
Well, that's Bud Grant's decision, and Bud Grant makes right decisions all the time. And if he'd have made the decision not to go, that would have been fine, too. But he thought we should, and we did, and we made it.
Francis, congratulations along with John Gilliam. And now, let's go across the way where Jack Whitaker is standing by with Dallas Cowboy coach Tom Landry.
Coach Tom Landry here, who saw all his hard work and planning and dedication end here today, and just kind of a tough moment, Tom.
Well, it really is, but, you know, Minnesota played an excellent football game. They came prepared, and they whipped us the first half especially. They gave us a chance to come back after our punt return, and it seemed like the same thing happened to us that happened to L.A. last week. They came right back, as good teams will on their day, and hit us with the bomb and neutralized all the advantage we had with the punt return. And after that, we had other chances, but we just didn't seem to have the edge to go in the score anymore.
What was halftime like here in the locker room? Because your defense came out, seemed tremendously fired up in that second half.
Well, we knew we had to do a great job. It wasn't that we were doing such of a bad job the first half. It was what Minnesota was doing. They were doing a super job the first half, both defensively and offensively, and we couldn't stop them defensively, and we couldn't move against them offensively, so you can't say much more than that. But we were ready the second half, I thought, but some days it's not your day.
Some days it isn't, and unfortunately one day can take you out of the big one, can't it?
That's right. It's all the only unfortunate thing about football is that there's only one winner, and that's the Super Bowl winner. Everybody else is losers, so that's the tough thing.
Now you go back and prepare for next year.
That's right. We have to start again, and we got a good team. We got a good young team, and they played super football all year, and it's too bad it ended today.
Thank you very much, Coach Landry. Thank you. We'll return to the winner's dressing room here at the NFC Championship game in just a moment.
I'm George Blanda, and when I'm not with the Raiders, I deliver for REA Air Express. Uniting the states, it's REA Express on the ground and 31 airlines getting your shipment on the first flight out. Right now, we can deliver to 522 airport cities in just one day. That's performance. Check the white pages for Air Express and ship with a winner. They hit your receiver every time. I know, because I work with them.
It's tough to put a Muriel down. It's tough to put a Muriel down. With so much flavor going for you, it's tough to put a Muriel down. It's tough to put a Muriel down. You're gonna want to take it with you all around. You get so much for so little. It's tough to put a Muriel down.
Back here in the locker room of the Minnesota Vikings, Oscar Reed, the running back on my left, and on my right, linebacker Wally Hilgenberg. And Oscar, they said you could not run against the Dallas Cowboys, but you folks went out there and really sustained an offense.
Well, we've been stressing the run for the last week or so in Dallas because we know that other teams has had a problem running on them, and we felt that if we could run on them, we could beat them.
Wally, early in the second half, Jack Buck made the observation that first offensive play was going to be terribly important for the Cowboys. They came with a screen pass, something they had not shown you in the first half. You read it perfectly.
Well, we had the right defense call, Brent. It was my force coming up on it, and I just happened to see the back sneaking out there and got up quick and got a good hit on it. And when you got the right defense called against the right play, you usually can come out okay.
You know, the Vikings don't blitz very often, but when they do, it can really be important. I remember back with the Los Angeles Rams when Jeff Seaman came and got John Hadle. Today, you went and got Roger Staubach.
Well, again, we had the right call at the right time, and we feel that the blitz is a better weapon if used as an element of surprise and do it less often. And so we don't try to live on it, but we use it as a weapon once in a while.
Wally, let's bring the head coach up here, Bud Grant, who designed this game plan, got this team together. Coach, congratulations on another tremendous effort. I know that yesterday you had predicted that this might wind up being a high-scoring game, and you said, I'm not so sure I'm going to be right about that.
Well, I certainly didn't predict all the turnovers in the ball game, but those things happen, and we were able to take a little more advantage of them than they were.
Was it any easier to defense them since they did not have Calvin Hill?
I don't think our defenses were predicated on that at all. We've had a great deal of respect for Newhouse. I can't say enough good things about Calvin Hill, and I'm sure that they missed him more than we might imagine, but we couldn't set our defenses for anybody. If he was in there, we'd have played exactly the same way, and I'm sure he would have had a great day.
Now, of course, you're going back to the Super Bowl. You remember the last time you were there, upset by the Kansas City Chiefs. I imagine you're looking forward
to getting even. Well, I don't know if it was an upset. They played a great football game, and they deserved to win that day, but we've been looking forward to another trip ever since that time. This is basically the same team, and we're happy to be back, and we'll be ready.
Any choice, Miami or Oakland?
It makes no difference at all. You've got to beat the best, and we'll find out who that is a couple weeks from now.
Coach Bud Grant, congratulations not only on today's victory, but for the entire season and career you've had with the Minnesota Vikings. Like the Dallas Cowboys, the Minnesota Vikings are one of the class operations in professional football. Now for a final word, let's go back outside to Jack Whitaker.
Thank you very much, Brent. As you can see, this huge, unique stadium now almost completely empty. And the first thought that hits you is the sad irony of the signs that have festooned this place today, gaily proclaiming a Cowboy victory. Spike the Vikes, tar and feather Tarkington. The Vikes will see the Super Bowl on CBS, etc. They now have that same sadness as those paper hats and noisemakers will have on New Year's Day morning. Because, as we know, football is a cruel game, and the losers go home and the winners go on to the Super Bowl. Dallas, as you know, probably represents the harsh standards that professional football demands from their great teams. A tremendous organization, brilliantly coached, rich in talent, and great dedication. And all that hard work, as Tom Landry said just moments ago, goes all down the drain on one afternoon or on one play or on one bounce. For Minnesota, I go back to an August evening in Bloomington when they beat Miami in a preseason game, and I had a feeling that they were like Richard Corey. They glittered when they walked. And they kept that glitter through the whole 14-game season, in the playoff game against the Redskins last week, and certainly here today. And, of course, their fans hope that they'll take that glitter right down the turnpike to Houston 2 weeks from now in the Super Bowl. The other point I think that we should mention is that this has been a year when professional football has come in for a lot of criticism in terms of dullness of its games because the field goal is taken over from the touchdown. Well, we had 3 field goals here today, but we also had a punt return of over 60 yards, an intercepted pass for a touchdown, a 52-yard bomb to Gilliam from Tarkington, and enough turnovers to make any fan happy. I think there's a lesson here that all of us should learn. For Wayne Walker, Brent Musburger, Pat Summerall, and Jack Buck, this is Jack Whitaker saying so long from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas.
Pro Football Report was sponsored by Dutch Masters, the fine cigar made with 4 Latin American tobaccos, and by Allied Artists Corporation, producers of Papillon, now playing at theaters all over the country. The NFL Today was produced by CBS Television Sports.
Mannix probes the eerie world of ESP, and Barnaby Jones finds out he may have erred when he cleared a client of murder when Wayne Rogers of MASH guest stars on tonight's exciting mystery double feature here on CBS.